Hi, I'm Diane Hayworth. I'm a coach, an author, and a speaker, and I wanted to share something with you today. Have you ever thought about your life in terms of success? Most of us do. We think of having successful relationships or success in business. But if you had to pick a symbol of your success, what would that be? Now think about it. What would be a symbol of success in your life? Somebody asked me that recently, and I came up with something that surprised me. I want to share it with you today. This is my success symbol, and it is obviously a little piece of a turtle shell. I found this on absolutely a perfect day in my childhood, probably in 1966 or 1967. And let me explain to you why it was so perfect. My parents had been invited to an elderly friend's home for dinner. I think it was lunch actually. And this gentleman, he was just lovely. He had apartments in New York and in DC. And here in rural Virginia, right outside of DC where we lived, he had a weekend place. And his wife was already gone, but he had this wonderful gentleman that helped him around the house. And he had prepared this fantastic lunch for my family. So it was my mom, my dad, my little sister, and my little brother and I. So we go out there on this Saturday. And I just remember this day was perfect. It was fantastic. First of all, we go into this home where there are all these exotic items that this gentleman, Mr. Smith, had collected from all over the world. And the gentleman that worked for him, Clems, was Danish. He was a big guy. He had an accent. He wore wooden shoes. To little kids like us, that was fantastic. He made us beautiful Danish cookies, this fantastic lunch. We were mesmerized. What I remember is I just felt really present. Every moment of that day was an adventure to me. The food, the house. After lunch, they let the adults let the kids go outside and play. And I remember that the house sat on top of this beautiful emerald green hill. And right next to that hill was a creek. Now, I don't know what happened in your house, but we weren't really allowed to play in creeks and get dirty and wet a lot, but we were this day. On this day, we went down to the creek. I remember my little brother picking up sticks, my sister was playing with rocks, and I found this little turtle shell. The reason this has become my success symbol is I realized that day I was fully present. I was so joyful. I felt loved. I felt very loving. I felt respected. It just was magical. Now, I certainly had a fine childhood, but I was a pretty nervous kid, very worried. Our parents were sick a lot. There just were a lot of things that concerned me as a child. I worked a lot. I started babysitting when I was 9 years old. And at 11, I started working retail. We were in a small little town, and it really wasn't that unusual. So these little carefree days of childhood, they didn't come around that often. And here, 50 years later, I still remember the way I felt that day. The reason I think this is my success symbol is from what I understood this to mean. The rest of my life, I have been trying to get back to what I felt this day. That love, that peace, that presence. And what I realized was I didn't need a degree. I didn't need to go to a bunch of workshops. I didn't need to have a lot of money in the bank. All I had to do was relax into the experience of the day. That was it. I just had to allow the love that was coming to me to be accepted and to be really authentic in loving that situation back and being really present. Not worrying about the past, not worrying about the future, just enjoying where I was. So that's my success symbol. Think about what would it be for you? It could be a family event. It could be something that you earned. Really doesn't make any difference what it is. I just want you to give some thought to what is a success symbol for your life. I'll see you next time. Thanks.